Welcome to the San Diego Prep Insider Podcast. It's just Tommy and Aaron today, if you will notice.
Hey!
Because Aaron, congratulations. First of all, you're the regular season champion of our Pick'em, so...
Confetti is flying in my house right now. I'm working from home, doing some office stuff, but I'd like to thank the Academy for this prestigious honor.
And if you notice, Christian is not here, and that's because he failed to make the playoffs after finishing third in our standings, so... Hey, it's 66% of the teams made the playoffs, so it's pretty liberal judgment out here. I feel like we have enough representation of the league. I think we're okay.
Yeah, we're fine. We're definitely
so some of the playoffs have already started, so we'll talk about that in a second. But we're not going to do any dunk or dish, no top 10, none of that. We don't have time, just game predictions because we want to get to all of them. We will start in Division 5. We've got O'Farrell taking on Escondido Charter. Aaron, who's going to win this game?
I think O'Farrell's going to win it. Escondido Charter had their first playoff win in program history over High Tech Chula Vista. But I think that O'Farrell, with the weapons they have with Derek Carter, Hollinger, AJ Gates, Luke Chokovich, I think it's a lot for Esco to Charter to handle. So I'm going to pick them. They've been my favorite to win Division 5, wire to wire, and not going to stop now.
I'm going to pick them as well. It's a similar thing. I think they're going to win Division 5, so can't not have them in the semifinals to get them through the finals, right?
Right.
So Farrell in that
exactly.
game. They will play the winner of Health Sciences and either Preuss or Guajome Park to play that game late. So, Aaron, is it going to be – I'll give you a double just like they do in the brackets when you have the 12 and the 5. Will it be one of the two, Preuss, Guajome Park, or will it be Health Sciences?
I'm thinking it's going to be Health Sciences. Preuss and Guajome Park are both really good teams. Preuss has the size advantage over most teams in Division 5. They have 2 6'5" guys who are actually really good, Adonis Dillahunty and Ibrahim Razak. But I think that Health Sciences, they've come this far. They're the number 2 seed for a reason. And in Division 5, we usually don't see that many upsets. So I'm going to go with the scratch, pick number 2, Health Sciences.
I'm going to go with Preuss here. I think they'll beat Guajome Park today, and then I think they'll beat Health Sciences. So
okay.
We got one little difference there. Moving on to Division 4 now, starting with the 1-8 game. It's the Cavers going to take on Brawley.
You know what? Cavers proved that they were road warriors going all the way to Palo Verde in Blythe to get that win. But Brawley is a really good team. They beat San Isidro earlier this season, and I think they laid a whooping on San Diego Jewish Academy. So I'm going to go with Brawley in this one, but I think it'll be closer than the seeds indicate.
Yeah, I think the score of that game was something like a 30-point game, but I do want to give a little shout-out to our intern, Jacob, who plays on the Jewish Academy team. Sorry, Jacob.
Good job, Jacob. Shout out.
He's got one more year left, so he'll be okay. But I'm going to take Brawley as well. Kind of like you were saying with Division 5, it's harder to see the upsets in some of these lower brackets, so I would take Brawley. Moving on to a game that will be close because the seeds are close.
Yes.
The 5-4 game, it's Vincent Memorial traveling to Santana.
I'm going to go with Santana on this one. Vincent Memorial had a really good season, and as we've already espoused our love for Fabian Arcianega earlier this year, I don't think he's enough to get past Santana. I think the Sultans have a couple of underrated talents. They're a senior-laden team, so I'm going to go with Santana on this one.
I think he is enough. I think Vincent Memorial wins. I know they have a very, very, very thin team, and I don't mean weight-wise, I mean it's the amount of kids that they can play. But I think Vincent Memorial will go to Santana and win this game. The 11-3 game, it's Southwest taking on Mission Vista at Mission Vista.
Mission Vista almost they got a scare in their first round game. They won 64-60 over the 14 seed Lutheran. Now Lutheran, they're 14 seed just because they didn't have all their players to start the year. So they probably would have been a lot higher with all of their players intact. With that said, I still feel that Mission Vista is on a mission, pun intended, and I'm gonna pick Mission Vista in this one.
See, I think that game was almost good for Mission Vista because since they're a newer school, it's probably their first time ever being the favorite
to win a game. Yeah, right.
So I think maybe that kind of got to their heads a little bit. They did pull it off. I think that's a good wake up call for them in this game. I think they will beat Southwest in the final game in Division 4. Another new school, Sage Creek, will host the number 7 seed El Cap. Who's going to win this one, Aaron?
Sage Creek. Enough said.
I agree with you. I'm going to take Sage Creek. I was a huge fan of them when I saw them play against Vista, and I will take Sage Creek. We'll move on to Division 3. Oceanside traveling to the 1 seed Ramona.
I'm going to pick Ramona in this one just because I was there at Oceanside when Ramona, laid a whooping on them. I mean, it wasn't really close. And I think now that they've got the home court advantage and they've played this opponent twice already, I'm going to stick with Ramon on this one.
I will agree with you. I will take the Bulldogs as well. I got to go and see them play on Friday against Orange Glen. It gets very loud there. It's a fun atmosphere. They got a bunch of big guys. It's going to be a tough game for the Pirates. I will take Ramona. In the 5-4 game, we have Bonita Vista going to Christian. Who's going to win this game?
Again, I'm a big believer in Christian and Travis Ballard and Kyle Stowers. So I'm gonna go with Christian on this one. But I think it's going to be a good game. I do believe it will be a good game.
I will take the Patriots as well. I think they have a legitimate chance of winning this whole bracket. I know it's kind of hard to think about that, but I think they actually have a shot at this thing. So I will take them over Bonita Vista. The next home team that we're going to talk about is Madison. They're the 3 seed playing the number 6 seed Granite Hills. What do you think?
I actually picked Granite Hills to make it to the championship when I did my preview, and I'm not backing off of that. I think that I really think that Ryan Kelly is coming into his own as a junior, and I like some of their complementary pieces to go along with him. So I'm going to pick Granite Hills in the upset.
I'm going to stick with the favorites here. I'm going to stick with Madison. We'll see what happens, but that'll be a good game. It's a split game for us. And the final game, Division III, Point Loma going to Central, kind of a trip out there. Will it be able to make it?
I think Point Loma is going to win it.
Wow.
Point Loma is one of 2 double-digit seeds that I think have a good chance to make it to the championship. Even though I don't think they will, I think they do advance in this round. They've got a lot of physical talent. They showed it when they beat RBV at RBV. So I'm going to pick them, even though it's going to be a tough game, a long road trip. You know how those things go, but I like the Pointers in this one.
I'll take Central. Full disclosure, don't have a lot of exposure to them. All I can see is their schedule. I've never seen them play. But a lot of those East teams kind of surprise you because you don't really think about them all the time like we do the teams closer to the city. So I will take Central just kind of on a whim. Moving on to Division II. Man, we're going through this fast. This is great. Oh, yeah. We're on a mission here.
Let's do
Patrick Henry, the 9 seed, going to take on number 1 Mission Hills. Or West Hills, excuse me.
Oh, no, I was going to say, Mission Hills. That would be a cakewalk.
Got my hills mixed up. We were going so fast and it was going so well. I had to mess it up at some point.
Don't even worry about it, man. I think it's going to be West Hills. They're the top seed for a reason. They actually did a really good job against a Bishops team that gave them trouble at the end of the season. They really were. I mean, they dominated them in the first round. Patrick Henry had a nice win over San Isidro, but I still think that home atmosphere and the top seed, they advance.
I will agree with you. I'll take West Hills. I will say something about Bishops. I mean, you think they were excited to get out of that Coastal League play? Oh my gosh! Finally, a team that wasn't insane. So I will take West Hills. I wouldn't be too worried about that Bishops game because again, I think Bishops kind of got stuck in a really tough conference there. Moving on, the 5-4 game, Helix going to the beach to play La Jolla.
La Jolla is one of my favorites all along to win Division II. They actually played each other in the beginning of the season over on at Petco Park, and La Jolla just laid the wood. But big difference in this one, Helix has its football players.
Oh yeah,
that's a big time game changer. But with that said, I think La Jolla pulls this one out. That's a shout out to my man Christian. Sorry you can't be with us, but I'm picking your boys to win.
Yeah, Christian's picking Spirit. So La Jolla won that first game 55-30, but again, don't read into that too much. It's kind of a fluky game. It was outdoors. Helix is going to the state playoffs for football, so they're missing some guys. So this will be a closer game, but I will still take La Jolla at home. And then another game that I think is kind of a tricky one, Aaron. It's the 11th seed Orange Glen going to play Rancho Bernardo. What do you think?
Man, I've actually vexed about this one a little bit because Orange Glen just curb stomped Scripps Ranch in their first round game. They look like they're playing with a chip on their shoulders. And Rancho Bernardo has had they had their ups and downs in the beginning of the year, but they've really, come on strong. I'm going to take the top seeded Broncos. I think the home crowd, they've got a ton of momentum. They just beat Poway, to cap off their season. Second place in a really good a top heavy but really good Palomar league. I think they have this one.
I don't know about that. So when I was at
Uh-oh.
Ramona, I saw them play Orange Glen, and I was expecting Ramona to win this game by quite a lot, but just given the reputations of both teams, and I could not have been more wrong. Orange Glen, not only did they win the game, they look like the better team. I mean, they've got three great juniors. You got Diaz, Owens, and Macias, and I think maybe it took them a little time to kind of figure it out. They're not underclassmen anymore. They're juniors,
Yeah.
and they are hard to stop. They good athletes, play good defense. They can score. I will take the 11 seed. I will stick my neck on the line out there for Orange Glen.
I like it. I like it. They're missing the fourth of the quartet. Michael Diaz's twin brother Devin Diaz is out for the year with an injury. If they had him, I might pick them too.
Yeah, so next year you got to definitely watch out for Orange Glen because that's going to be a very good team that not a lot of people will probably be paying attention to. And the final game in D2, it's 7 Mira Mesa going to La Jolla Country Day.
I'm picking La Jolla Country Day in this one. Mira Mesa's big advantage over teams has been James Audie in the middle. And I think that La Jolla Country Day has a counter to that with Bruce Edwards and Matt Bender, who's been playing excellent, the second half of the season. So I'm going to go with the Tories on this one.
I will take Country Day as well. I do think this will be a close game. I think the inside game with Mira Mesa, and then you mentioned Audie, but also Devin Sanders too, another big kid, football guy. So it's going to be tough to get rebounds for Country Day, but I think they'll find a way because they're just quite frankly really talented scorers.
They're very talented.
So going on to Division One, we're almost all the way through this. A team that won by 2 points last night, Vista.
Yes.
Going to take on the 1 seed El Camino. It's another brown and yellow team. So maybe that'll help them out. We'll keep the familiar atmosphere as they travel El Camino.
A little bit of history here. A couple years back in 2012, El Camino curb stomped Vista in their second game during league. They faced each other in the semifinals of Division One, and Vista pulled off the upset and made it to the Division One finals where they lost to Torrey Pines. A lot of similarities between the seasons that both are having between now and 2012. But I'm going to stick my neck out and pick the top seed. Really, I'm not sticking my neck out at all. But I do think that this is going to be a very close game. As you saw, Taurus Samuels is single-handedly capable of taking over a game. Against Francis Parker, he did it in the fourth quarter. I expect him to have a similar type of game against El Camino. But I think the Wildcats have a little more firepower than Francis Parker, and they pull off the game closer than the seeds would indicate.
I will agree with you. Taurus Samuel's very impressive when I saw him yesterday. Kid was making everything. It was almost like, and all the great players have this, and I know he's only 15 or 16 years old. So I'm gonna whenever they decide, you know what, we're gonna win this game, and they just score.
Yeah.
It's hard to find guys like that. We talked about this earlier off air. His pull-up jumper is unreal. Kid's got a bright future, but I will still take El Camino. Vista in a couple of years, maybe.
Yes.
The 5-4 game is Morse going to Mater Dei. What do you think?
I actually think Morse is going to win this one.
Wow.
Yeah, Mater Dei struggled against Steel Canyon. They won by 3, and I've heard it was a really close game. Like Steel Canyon led a lot of that game, so that kind of worries me a little bit. And Justin Davis is going to be a problem that I don't think Mater Dei really has an answer for. Trey Anderson is a nice sophomore wing, but Justin Davis is a physical specimen at 6'5". He's stronger than both Miles Norris and Trey Anderson. And I think that level of strength just from that one guy is enough to get them over the hump. So I'm going to pick Morris in a close one.
I think it'll be close as well, but I'll go the other way on this one. I'll take Mater Dei, and the reason why, they have a few common opponents. Mater Dei 6-0 against teams that played similar, and Morse 3-2. I know they're not the same amount of games, but that's because Mater Dei played one of those teams twice. I don't know. I just have trouble picking against them. I really do. I saw both.
No. I understand that. Yeah.
They both look good, but I will take Mater Dei in this one. Moving on, a team that just had pull up an upset, so congratulations to these guys. Santa Fe Christian going even more north to go play San Marcos.
I'm going to pick San Marcos, but kudos to Santa Fe Christian. Owen Asheris, he's a very underrated point guard in the junior class. Had 20 points, hit 4 3-pointers in that upset. I didn't see that one coming. I did not see that one coming. I thought La Costa Canyon would take care of business. San Marcos, on the other hand, I mean, they've been playing really well as well. They were co-league champions, and I think they're making a nice push. to the championship. So I'm gonna pick San Marcos in this one.
I'll take San Marcos again. Again, just another example of a Coastal League team that a lot of people probably looked over because they got stuck playing Army Navy Country Day, Foothills Christian.
They were
times.
like, yes.
So yeah, and Parker as well. I don't want to overlook them. So those four teams, you got to play those 8 games are brutal. So getting out of that league is good for some of these teams. And our final game in Division 1, another sort of upset, I guess. Escondido with a win in the first round, so they get to go take on Kearney.
This is going to be the best game of the night, I think, in my opinion, in all the divisions. These are 2 evenly matched teams. This is probably a Division 1 semifinal being played in the quarterfinals because of, the fluky power ranking system and Escondido getting a 10 seed. With that said, I am on record that I think that Escondido is going to make it to the championship in Division 1. And I think they're going to beat Kearney. And I'm going to pick Escondido. I think it will be a raucous environment at the Comets Arena, which is, one of those beehive gyms that the city schools have. But I think that the senior leadership of Keegan Cummins and Marcus Hentley, who played an outstanding game, I think that puts them over the top against a really talented 2C Kearney, but somewhat unproven, to be honest with you.
Oh, man. I'm going to take them too. I'm going to take Escondido as well. I love those kids in the comments. We got to go and hang out with them for a day, but it's just tough playing Escondido when you got 2 guys who are 6'10". You got Hentley playing point guard. It's a handful for anyone in the county. Wouldn't surprise me if Kearney won. I think this will be one of those games that'll be, like you said, best game of the night, but I think Escondido's inside presence is going to be enough to overtake them. So now moving on to the teams that all got buys, the open division. Everyone got a nice little break this week.
Nice rest. Are you guys ready? Are you ready?
Here they go. Here we go. Starting with the 1-8 game. I hate having to even say it, but Grossmont going to take on Foothills Christian. I mean, it's Foothills Christian, so I
don't think Tommy Rutherford's gonna play. He's hurt. He might be out for this game. And if he doesn't show up, this game could get ugly in a hurry. I think Foothills Christian wins in a landslide.
I will take Foothills Christian. No need to explain. The 5-4 game. It's Army Navy going to Torrey Pines.
Wow. My heart wants to pick Army Navy. I think they have the better starting 5. But my mind says that Torrey Pines and their depth is going to give trouble to Army Navy. And not to mention the game's being played at the Olive Garden. So I'm gonna pick Torrey Pines in this one, and I think it's the depth that is going to give issues to Army Navy. And I think that if Army Navy does win, I won't be surprised, but they're going to need all 5 of their starters to have very good games to beat a John Olive coach team in the playoffs.
I will agree with you. Army Navy's been playing with not that many guys, as you said, and if one of those guys gets into foul trouble, it's kind of trouble. So
yeah,
I'll take Torrey Pines as well. It's a safer play. I think if Army Navy plays their best game, Torrey Pines plays their best game, Army Navy wins. But the variance of where that can go for Army Navy is too big for me. So I'm going to take Torrey Pines. Going to the 6-3 game, the Buccaneers, Mission Bay, taking on St. Augustine.
Now, 3 times, you play a team 3 times in a year, anything can happen. That's what everybody says. But I think the Saints pull it off. Mike Haupt, this is his time of the year. He has always thrived in these situations. Last year as the 6th seed, they made a run and won the Open Division in its inaugural season. So I think that they get over the hump against Mission Bay, and they prepare for yet another third time a charm game against Cathedral Catholic.
And that would be a fun one to watch. I will take Saints as well. I think those 3 teams, Foothills, Saints, and Cathedral, are, in my opinion, a slight division above almost all these open division teams. So I think they'll all advance. So that kind of gives away my next pick, which is number 7 Poway going to Cathedral.
I love the Titans story this year, led by a sophomore, Zach Ryder, who's had a really good year, made all-league first team. Derek Sitt, a very capable junior point guard, and a host of of role guys who all know their role on the floor. With that said, they have no answer for Brandon McCoy, and let alone the other pieces on that Cathedral team. Now, Poway did beat Cathedral last year in the playoffs. much to I received a lot of heckling from the Poway fans. I remember it very clearly. But this is a different Cathedral team, and I'm going to pick the Dons.
I already said it. I'm going to pick Cathedral. Brandon McCoy is Shaquille O'Neal in San Diego. If he gets the ball anywhere near the basket, it's dunk. It's almost impossible to stop him. Again, the only way that you stop him is if he stops himself. It's not.
Yeah.
There's nobody in the county. Maybe TJ that can stop him, but it's really no one.
And even TJ's going to have trouble guarding him.
Right, because he's a whole different. He's a true inside player, which nowadays you don't really see. Everyone wants to shoot 3-pointers, but Brandon McCoy has no problem hanging out around the rim and dunking the ball. So before we get out of here, Aaron, anything you want to add?
Jess, I think that this has been, so far, it's been a great playoffs. I mean, we had some upsets. We've had some really tight games. And I think that it's going to continue on all the way to Jenny Craig Pavilion on the 4th and the 5th. And I'm just excited to see what everyone brings to the table in these next few weeks.
I'm excited as well. I can't wait for Saturday, and then we'll be back with you next week with more predictions. Again, like always, if you disagree with us, feel free to tweet at us and make fun of us, call us names. We're pretty much we're thick-skinned people. We can.
Poway had the best one last year. After they beat Cathedral, they put a picture up of all the guys like pointing at the camera and saying, I can't. What they were like? What about us? And how do you like us now? And that was like my most popular tweet of the year, apparently, according to Twitter analytics. So I can't wait to be proven wrong again and to have it blasted on Twitter. I mean, I think it's great that the kids are so engaged, and this is a very special time of the year for all of us.
It is. Good luck to everyone out there playing this weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.